Democracy has many definitions, one of which could be described as the presence of legislature and the constitution. The checkered history of legislative participation in governance and democracy in Nigeria dates back to the pre-independence activities of the Legislative Council under the British administration.
You know, and then you moved when we merged the Northern and Southern Protectorate. We started having councils. And people participation then was based on economic power, you know, your participation, your literacy, and all that.
Parliamentary democracy was handed over to Nigeria then, with the first indigenous National Assembly constituted in 1963. With the First Republic failing and consequent takeover by military, the country moved to presidential democracy in 1979. However, before the lawmakers settled down to real business, there was another interregnum.
Without the legislature, we still had governments or administrations. And of course, a parody of the legislature in the military system. Supreme Military Council, as it were in the 1960s when Lawan became the head of state, and Armed Forces Ruling Council during the Babangida era. They were meant to replace the legislature, but legislature is not replaceable.
Aberration is what political scientists call President Ibrahim Babangida's experiment of a quasi-administrative arrangement. With the restoration of democracy in 1999, this most democratic arm of government had to start from ground zero and build up to what is today known as the longest periods of its existence in Nigeria.
For people like me who are proponents of a parliamentary system of government, would have loved to see Nigeria continue in line of a parliamentary system where the executive branch and the legislature are working in total harmony from day one.
In spite of discordant views in the ensued brouhaha, all arms of government meant well for Nigeria, as they were all determined to show that at no cost should the military be allowed to come back to power. After all, Nigerians fought to ensure the restoration of democracy, with some even paying the ultimate sacrifice.
Unfortunately, over the years, the women have not really held major positions within the legislature. The reason is not far-fetched.
2003 to 2007, therefore, witnessed the gradual reformation of relationship with apparent and quite obvious realization by all arms of government that cordiality far outweigh fight on sentiment if sustainable democracy is to be attained.
So we need to look at us now. How do we fare? Do we need to adjust? Do we need to correct? Do we need to change? The only thing I would say is why are we, the legislature, the National Assembly, they are important. Because people who are present, the president or his structures, they are misplacing the pressure.
In spite of its disadvantage of just coming on board after a series of mishap or near obliteration, the legislative arm has been able to maintain some degree of cordial relationship with late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, former President Goodluck Jonathan, and continue to do so with President Muhammadu Buhari. General consensus is that there is no better way of sustaining people's confidence in democracy than for all arms of government to work in total harmony. From the National Assembly, Waziri Zanyanu, NT News.